Hi there. Welcome to Apple World. So Bryce and Addison authoritatively separated again. Might you at any point hear that is the sound of millions of hearts breaking into pieces in view of the separation, and furthermore on the grounds that Braddison has obviously been drumroll, if it's not too much trouble, counterfeit, after all the venture we put into that relationship. How could they do that to us? As of now, seeing others, the recycled deplorability is genuine. You all know that this Braddison show has been happening however long the two have known one another. So nothing ought to shock us, and discusses the relationship being phony has been coursing the web for some time, and fans have had their doubts all along, and that is where we'll begin. How precisely did they get together briefly in 2019? L.A. Dan John, he even did an entire video of how he asked Ellie to be his sweetheart, and for the following several months they were indivisible. Tragically, in July 2019, the two split up, and in exemplary Bryce style, he did a YouTube video to make sense of the separation 3 months after the fact. In October, Bryce met Addison Beam, who had quite recently exploded on TikTok, and they quickly clicked for a really long time. Bryce and Addison never conceded that they were seeing someone. It was really clear. I mean, the hand holding the kissing posts via virtual entertainment. The YouTube recordings fans recommended that they would have rather not placed a name on their relationship since they believed individuals should continue to talk. This was brilliant since, supposing that individuals called their relationship counterfeit around then, they'd basically say hello. We never said we were dating, nicely done during the time spent the we might date circumstance. Bryce Lobby was hit with the main duping embarrassment. Mark the word first on the grounds that the tricking embarrassments are a great deal. Obviously, when Bryce was in Miami in February 2020, he undermined Addie with individual TikToker sign Vizina on that equivalent Miami trip. Bryce was likewise presented for attempting to spend time with the airline. Steward Bryce and Addison separated, then got together once more, and then separated once more. And this was the cycle for, in a real sense, the whole of 2020. Is that even solid, except if they were in the relationship for clout? We don't see how anybody would energetically reside like that. At any rate, on November 30, 2020, Bryce and Addison got together for a YouTube video where they spilled a few tea about their relationship and affirmed that they were formally dating. Addie showed photographs of the couple on her Instagram feed, showing them making out in a pool only 3 days subsequent to opening up to the world about their relationship on December 3rd. Addison and Bryce unfollowed each other on Instagram. They said that they had not separated yet. Their records supernaturally unfollowed each other. The insane thing about that situation is that simply a month prior to they unfollowed each other, talk came out that Bryce and Addison's relationship is in support of show, and they would separate on December 3rd for exposure happenstance. Much Bryce went on the Hollywood Crude webcast with Dax Holt and Adam Glenn. Furthermore, tended to reports about Braddison being phony. He added that they were not savvy to the point of arranging a separation, and added that he comprehends the reason why individuals think their relationship is phony. He said, "I can see the reason why they feel that, however, you see several kids and a young lady haphazardly posting back together after months and getting 80 million perspectives on TikTok. It looks like Justin and Selena, no doubt Bryce, it thoroughly looks phony. And that commitment days, did you accept that Addison and Rae got connected? Well, they sure got fans talking after Addison showed a photograph of a jewel ring on her Instagram story. Acceptable for somebody who demanded that this relationship was not phony. The conning outrages related with Bryce are such a large number of what was that get together with Lauren back in Feb. On Valentine's week, photographs and recordings surface of Bryce and Lauren while they were on a get-together, and in all honesty, they were doing all that heartfelt stuff, clasping hands, chuckling at one another's jokes, and Bryce even taking care of Lauren sincerely. Obviously, individuals blew a gasket, yet extremely observant fans saw a mic on Lobby pull over and recommended it was a trick video. It turns out the fans were correct. A couple of days after the fact, Bryce posted a YouTube video named My Better Half's $100,000 Gift. Evidently, Bryce needed to demonstrate to the world that he was a cheating sleazeball, and for once controlled the story. He got Addison's endorsement and called up Lauren, who consented to be important for the trick. Then he got Kevin Wong on board to record all that and release the twirl. The mouthpiece parted with everything, so he counterfeit undermined Addison for no good reason. Toward the finish of the trick video, Bryce showed off a custom jewel neckband he got Addison with the words "terrible bleep," so he was He cerebrums behind the trick video, yet the supper date with Tana in Addison's presence was only frightful in the event that you missed the TVIP tattle account. Moi shared a supposed perception about Bryce and Addison from a passerby. As per The Spectator, Bryce invested some quality energy with Tina and model Josie Canseco on February 28. Addison was there with Dixie D'Amelio, yet Addison and Bryce didn't collaborate even once. As a matter of fact, there was a clasp showing Bryce step rolling directly past Addison like they were finished outsiders. Bryce likewise supposedly purchased Tina blossoms at Saddle Farm. Another mysterious source told Sunrise Regulation that they thought Bryce and Addison are simply PR they composed. I used to watch them coordinate when they would get up to go to the restroom so the paparazzi would have an unmistakable chance of them. He behaved like something else entirely when she wasn't there. When Hollywood Fixed asked Bryce to remark on his supper with Tina, Bryce completely snapped, and it was undeniably gotten on camera. Did we hear duping embarrassment with Dana Wolf on the walk? First, YouTuber Keemstar professed to have proof that Bryce undermined Addison with Dana Wolf during an outing to Las Vegas. A message discussion was spilled to a few show diverts in which apparently Dana owns up to connecting with Bryce 2 times. In the midst of the bits of hearsay, Addison tweeted and erased a mysterious message. Frustrated, however, not shocked, fans quickly expected the tweet was alluding to Bryce's conduct in Vegas. Bryce then again answered with a basic tweet. I didn't undermine Addison, so in the event that Cost didn't undermine Addison, there's not an obvious explanation for why they would have separated right off base. It's somewhat more confounded than that. Goodness, there was one more bamboozling embarrassment this time with Saviantha. When Bryce was in Las Vegas, he supposedly additionally undermined Addison with Saviantha. She tended to the tales and said that they went to a similar occasion, yet Bryce was on the telephone with Beam the greater part of the time they were together and nothing occurred between them. Saviantha took to her Instagram stories to examine what is happening further. She made sense of that she met Bryce and his companions through a shared companion. She added that Bryce did nothing that she would mark questionable or unusual, and furthermore explained that she never by and by drew near to Bryce. When correspondents from Hollywood Fix stood up to Addison about these claims, she just bowed her head, put her palm over her face, and seemed to cry, "Goodness, we would rather not see her cry." It Matt Kess, it seemed to be the relationship has been genuine, and she's really harmed. I mean, we would try and prefer not to envision that the crying was additionally phony. On Walk Third, Addison took to Instagram stories to address the dramatizations encompassing her relationship. She composed, "I love you all, and I'm generally so appreciative for the benevolent words and backing you show me. Offering my life to you all satisfies me, yet a few things I decide to deal with disconnected." She proceeded to say that if and when she needs to share insights regarding her own life, she would go with that choice. She wrapped up by saying thanks to her fans for their adoration and backing, and said that disdain is never the response. As of now, we don't actually have the foggiest idea what is genuine and what is phony. Yet news contacting us is that Bryce Lobby and Addison Beam are authoritatively over this information. Comes after Addison alluded to Bryce as her ex she was conversing with Zane Lowa on Apple Music about the most common way of making her presentation single fixated, and appeared to affirm the separation by alluding to Bryce as an ex while making sense of the story behind the melody. She said, "There's a little story behind the whole tune. So I was driving just before the studio. I had dropped off my beau at that point, and I dropped him off at his home, and afterward, before that happened, he took a gander at me and was like, 'I'm fixated on you,' and I resembled me too after a cycle of digging fans up." All that Addison was done following Bryce on Instagram, and she likewise eliminated his follow. Wow, the things you can do with Instagram these days. While affirming the news, a source let us know that week after week, she feels that he has a ton of growing up to do, and that he brings an excess of show into her life. They're so here and there, however, so don't be shocked if